Hello everyone and welcome back to Pacific Rim Theory. Apologies for not making any videos before this. I've just been really unmotivated lately to create content, but thank you so much for everyone's support and I hope this video is worth the wait. So yeah, for those of you who do not know, this month marks Pacific Rim's 10th anniversary, which I cannot believe it's been 10 years. Like, I was so young when this film came out, so it feels like I've grown up with it. So this anniversary is very special for me, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you. So I wanted to do something fun to celebrate, and I thought, how cool would it be to rewatch the film and see if it still holds up today, 10 years later. So what do you think? Let's find out together. So first I want to discuss the action, and to nobody's surprise, this shit is still cool as hell. And the reason why I find that these battles against the Jaegers and the Kaiju feel so enormous and so cinematic is because of the emphasis on their weight. Every punch feels like they came from the hands of God. Every movement feels like a giant walking through a city. The immersion of these fights are so spectacular that you literally feel on the edge of your seat watching them, like it's a boxing match. One of my favourite moments, which funnily enough has nothing to do with a fight in this film, but the weight of a Jaeger, is Striker Eureka running to Cherno's aid. I always show this to anyone who will listen to me babble about this movie because tell me why this shit is so cool.
Come on! Solve has been compromised! We need backup immediately! Just hold on, Cherno, we're on our way!
It's because we can see how much of a struggle this freaking tank of a machine is having as it fights against the current of the ocean. You can hear the sound of the gears and the engines increasing, like that's how much power it needs to move a Mark 5 against the damn ocean. Only in Pacific Rim will you see details like this. Only in Pacific Rim.
Mr. Beckett!
Marshall, looking sharp.
Long time.
5 years, 4 months.
One of the many comments I hear against Wally Beckett is that he's a forgettable protagonist, to the point where there are some people who do not even know his name and mix him up with Chuck Hansen. Before my rewatch, I would fight against this notion, as I believe that Wally was just what he needed to be for a movie like this, and I kind of stand by that today. But to be honest with you, after seeing the film again, I gotta say, Wally is a bland protagonist. Don't light the torches on me yet, okay? Hear me out. For me, there's not much to him outside of his grief and him being a former Jaeger pilot from the Golden Age. Oh man, I feel so bad for saying this. Like, I'm sorry, but Charlie's performance in this film it's okay. And at the end of the day, Wally Beckett is still one of my favorite characters, but what I feel was lacking from Wally was charisma. Charisma that I feel Travis Fimmel could have brought to the role. Now, if you've seen my video on my channel about, funny enough, Pacific Rim was made today, and they did a recast, I said that Travis would have been my first choice to play Wally. And I think Travis could bring more weight to the role of Wally, and a fun persona as well, which is something that I feel that he lacked. Like, there wasn't much, I don't know, personality to his character, I kind of felt on a rewatch. Like, we barely get to know anything about Wally. What does he want outside of saving the world? If we got to explore that through an actor like Travis Fimmel, I think that Wally would have been a more memorable character in Pacific Rim. Sorry, Charlie.
Mr. Beckett! This is Mako Mori, one of our brightest.
What else can I say about Mako that hasn't already been said? Like, she is iconic, she is the moment. Did you know that they made a media test based solely on her character? Like, one, she failed to pass the test in the sequel, but we don't talk about that. What we do talk about is why wasn't she the protagonist of this film? Like, I'm sorry, but her story is way more interesting than Wally's, and the emotional attachment to Stacker makes her the perfect person to pass the baton to at the end of the film, along with the franchise, which we were robbed of. Like, for me, this feels like phase 1 of her character, but because of what happened in the sequel, coming back to the first film, Mako Mori feels like a side character at times, instead of a dual protagonist with Wally. But again, I think maybe because of my preference for Mako over Wally, I think I just would have rather seen her be the main character, to be honest with you.
Crimson Typhoon. Cherno Alpha, I want you to front line the harbor. Stay on the Miracle Mile.
Now about Cherno Alpha and Crimson Typhoon. Once again, why were they not the main supporting cast? Like, please get rid of Chuck and Huck and Roddy and give me the movie with Stacker and Mako as co-pilots and Cherno Alpha and Crimson Typhoon as their support teams, because I would have loved to see that movie. Cherno was so badass in this film and they were really wasted because I wanted to know so much more about them. I want them to have an origin film, same with Crimson, because when they died, I honestly was so sad because we barely knew anything about them and their deaths just felt emotionless. Like, they were the infantry and they were so much more badass than that, and they really deserve better. Honestly, I know there's a huge fan base for, like, especially Cherno Alpha, because while the Jaegers and the pilots are just they're just so badass, but Crimson Typhoon as well, they barely, I don't even know, did they even get speaking roles? I don't think they did. They were wasted, honestly, and I feel like we should have known more about them. On the music side of things, I think this just about covers it, don't you? I've already talked about some of the things I change about Pacific Rim, mainly the lead characters. But if there's something I still want to see that was explored in this movie, it's the Antiverse. Because that world is so interesting and looks so strange and yet so spectacular. I want a whole movie in there. I want to learn about the precursors and how they create the kaiju. I want to know more about their history, and I know that was something Guillermo wanted to explore in his sequel, so Guillermo, if you're listening, please, I beg you, make it.
Today we face the monsters that are at our door and bring the fight to them. Today we are canceling the apocalypse.
But anyway, I gotta give you my answer, right? I mean, that's what this whole video was about. Does Pacific Rim still hold up today? Is it still my favorite film of all time? Is it still awesome? And all I have to say to that is, why would you think otherwise?